Okay, friends, we are back here at Safe to Serve and Prophesy again for another prophetic insights. A little technical difficulty, but by God's grace, we are going to share this all-important subject, this incident that transpired. Now, we know what season it is here in America. What is that season, Hillary?
Yes, a lot of people are gearing up for the 2020 presidential election, and there are candidates that are actively on the campaign trail holding rallies in various cities across the nation.
And who are those front runners for the Democratic Party, Hillary?
Well, you have Joe Biden, of course, Bernie Sanders, and also you have Kamala Harris.
And we are told that on May 18th, this is very significant, this past Sabbath, May 18th, 2019, that Bernie Sanders held a campaign rally in South Carolina. And it was reported by the South Atlantic Conference president of Seventh-day Adventist, Elder William Winston, at a funeral service there at the Berean Church in Atlanta, Georgia. I believe it was for Elder Woodfork, that the chief, understand this, the chief of police threatened the Seventh-day Adventist Church to either end the service early or cancel church service for the day. Now, take a listen to what's...
God bless you. Thank you. You may be seated. I got a call on Friday afternoon. We have a little church down in a city called Denmark, South Carolina. And one of the elders at Denmark called me Friday and said, the chief of police has told me that we can't have service tomorrow. I said, the chief of police told you what? He says, well, Bernie Sanders is coming to town. And they're going to be blocking off the streets and highways, and y'all going to have to get out of here early, y'all can, or not come at all. Y'all can't have service. I said, you tell that fox that unless he has a court order to shut us down, we will be in church tomorrow. And Elder Melvin Preston was a guest speaker. Things went fine. But you know, there's a day that's coming. But there's going to be some more police chiefs out there who are going to just on their own whim decide to close us down. But he sent me a message. He said, you tell your pastor, you tell your president that I'm the law in this town. Well, I said all that to say this.
All right, my friends. So you have heard that threatening statement from the chief of police, and as the conference president, Elder William Winston stated, a time is coming when more police chiefs out there are going to decide to close down Seventh-day Adventist churches because, of course, they're Sabbath keepers. Now, is this prophetic? Is this biblical? We're told in the book of Daniel, chapter 3, verse 2 and verse 3, that when King Nebuchadnezzar erected that image and forced the individuals to bow down and to worship falsely, the Bible tells us the sheriffs were also a part of that movement to restrict liberty of conscience and to force people to worship falsely. It says this in verse 2, then Nebuchadnezzar, the king, sent together all the princes, the governors, the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, even the sheriffs, it says, and all the rulers of the provinces to come to the dedication of the image which Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. And we know, of course, in verse 3 onward, what happened to those three Hebrews?
Well, they didn't bow the knee, of course. They stood faithful. They stood faithful to God. And as a result, they were thrown into the midst of the fiery furnace.
Even when they were threatened by Nebuchadnezzar, the sheriffs, the chief of police in that day?
Right. They stood faithful.
And did
Amen.
God stand for his children?
Oh, yes, he did.
The three
Absolutely.
Hebrew boys. And we know that in Revelation 13, there's coming another crisis regarding the worshiping of this image. That's chapter 13 of Revelation, verse 15, all the way down through verse number 17. And verse 2 of chapter 13 of Revelation, we are told the dragon, in this sense, the civil power, gave its power and seat and great authority to the papacy. And America, apostate Protestants, forms what to the papacy?
Forms an image.
So what we see in the beast will also be seen in the image. This power, this seat and great authority. And what are we told in Matthew chapter 8 and verse 9 regarding authority?
Well, this is the account of the centurion that wanted healing for his servant. And he said, I'm a man of great authority. I tell people to go, and they go. I tell them to come, and they come. I tell them to do this, and they do it. So what you see here is this police chief in South Carolina was exercising his authority just because he was the police chief without any court order, as the president said, without any rightful legal I'm lost for words, but
yes, authority.
Yeah, authority to do it.
Now notice what this says in early writings, page 282. Then I saw the leading men of the earth consulting together, and Satan and his angels busy around them. I saw a writing, copies of which were scattered in different parts of the land, giving orders that unless the saints should yield their peculiar faith, give up the Sabbath, meaning even shutting down your churches, Sabbath churches, and observe the first day of the week, the people were at liberty after a certain time to put them to death.
Wow.
But hear this. But in this hour of trial, the saints were calm and composed, trusting in God and leaning upon his promise that a way of escape would be made for them. I want to bring you back to the scriptures now. In Daniel chapter 6, not chapter 3 now, but chapter 6 of Daniel. And we see how the princes, the rulers, the counselors, even the presidents, even sheriffs and captains, they said, King Darius, pass a royal decree that everyone in the realm should worship you, and that they should not worship any other god. So here's the point, the application. God's people are going to be forced to worship on Sunday when the mark of the beast is enforced, and also they are going to be threatened to close down their churches and not to worship on God's seventh day Sabbath. Daniel 6 and verse number 7 says, all the presidents of the kingdom, the governors and the princes, the counselors and the captains have consulted together to establish a royal statute and to make a firm decree that whosoever, watch this now, shall ask a petition of any god or man for 30 days, save thee, O king, he shall be cast into the den of lions.
Wow.
But what did Daniel do? And what did God do for Daniel?
Daniel did as he had done aforetime. He opened his window and he prayed. He didn't care which eyes were looking at him. He stood for God, as did the Hebrew boys, and God honored him.
You know, friends, as I looked at what Elder William Winston said, the conference president of the South Atlantic Conference, I actually went to the website for that conference, and I looked on the About link page, hoping to find more about Elder Winston and his stance. And I found the following. And as I read this, tell me, how do you reconcile what is written on the conference's page, its website, for the public to view, and the statement that the conference president, Elder Winston, stated? Hillary, you want to read that for us?
All right. Again, this was from the About Us link on the South Central Conference of Seventh-day Adventist website. About Us, about the president. It said he is concerned with attempts to make Adventism the NAD version, grow at a rate that is equivalent to what it enjoyed in the beginning. Here are some statements from a report of remarks made by William Winston during the course of a 2015 sermon he presented at Berean. We must always keep Jesus central. Don't harp on your hobby horses. Not veganism, not blue laws, not the Pope, not women's ordination. What we must make known to the world is this salient feature of our faith. We are children of God. Elder Winston now made a statement that may have come as news to 2 or 3 people in the congregation. Jesus died for the Pope too. Adventism is prospering in the developing areas of the globe, but in North America it is not prospering to the degree that it has overseas. William Winston seems to be asking some hard questions as to why this is the case. If Facebook Adventists reflect the American mainstream of the denomination, then veganism, blue laws, and the Pope assume the stature of a monomania for about 20% of church members.
Friends, how do you reconcile that statement on the South Atlantic Conference of Seventh-day Adventists from President Winston to what we're seeing here, his remarks yesterday, Sunday actually? How do you reconcile this? It seems to me, and I want you all to share your comments below, it seems to us that in a time of comparative peace, the words are, don't focus on current events. Don't focus on the coming crises that God's people must encounter. But as soon as a church is threatened by civil authority, all of a sudden they recall end time prophecies. Again, take a listen and take a look.
For you, God bless you. Thank you. You may be seated. I got a call on Friday afternoon. We have a little church down in a city called Denmark, South Carolina. And one of the elders of Denmark called me Friday and said, the chief of police has told me that we can't have service tomorrow. I said, the chief of police told you what? He says, well, Bernie Sanders is coming to town. And they're going to be blocking off the streets and highways, and y'all going to have to get out of here early, y'all can, or not come at all. Y'all can't have service. I said, you tell that fox that unless he has a court order, to shut us down, we will be in church tomorrow. And Elder Melvin Preston was a guest speaker. Things went fine. But you know, there's a day that's coming where there's going to be some more police chiefs out there who are going to just on their own whim decide to close us down. But he sent me a message. He said, you tell your pastor, you tell your president that I'm the law in this town. Well, I said all that to say this.
You know, friends, this is really a great controversy. A few weeks ago, we were actually doing a live prophetic insights for you all. Would you believe me? We were in a park just like this. It was somewhat serene, peaceful, everything going fine. And as soon as we went live, talking to you, Safe to Serve International and others, here comes a group of young girls pushing a cartillery. And what were they selling?
They were selling lemonade.
And would you believe me, they walked all the way down toward where we were. And as soon as they got front and center to where we were, what happened, Hillary?
Well, I guess the cart lost its balance and the lemonade, the glass container holding the lemonade, shattered.
Right while we are sharing God's word. The great controversy. Would you believe me? We came right here this evening. Nobody was in this park. We're actually downtown Orlando. It's called what? Lake
Eola.
Lake Eola. Thank you, Hillary. And would you believe me? We were here, no one around us. And as soon as we went live, people came right behind us. Began smoking, began talking. above their natural tone and volume to create distraction. Now, we don't own the space, so anybody can come, but it's the great controversy. We actually went live a few moments ago before this, and something went wrong again. It's the great controversy. But friends, God is saying to us that we have to give the trumpet a distinct sound, that we have to work aggressively now, because the opportunities that we now have, we will not have in a few short months from now. So let's do all that we can to awaken those around us to get ready, get ready, get ready, stay ready. Maranatha. Again, give us your comments. Let's continue this dialogue in the comment section. And we'll also post the links. God bless until we meet again.